said, her tone dripping acid. You're not the Alpha. Your husband is. But you sure love to act like you are. Genevieve. Juliana snapped, her temper finally cracking. Alpha. Genevieve. She corrected, her voice pure ice, a stark reminder of her rank. Can we please not do this right now? Leon cut in, the unlikely voice of reason. This isn't a playground. It's the Alpha Council. We're already down one member, and our enemy is still out there. So how about we start figuring out how to get to Cooper before another one of us, at this table, ends up dead. His words sliced through the tension, leaving an uneasy silence in their wake. Juliana looked away, fuming, while Genevieve's expression went carefully blank. Caspian cleared his throat and turned to Caleb. Do we have any leads on Hudson Cooper? Isaac Turner. That's his real name, Caleb said, his voice laced with disgust. His family is anti-werewolf to the bone. For generations, they've been bounty hunters, werewolf hunters, living off the blood of our kind. Every last branch of that family tree is steeped in hate. Let that sink in. We traced their bloodline. Turns out they're descended from the Geralds, and it seems they tried to finish what their ancestors couldn't, wiping us off the face of the earth. Genevieve snorted. To think you put our children in the hands of that monster. Caleb's eyes narrowed at her. Are you blaming me for this? With all due respect, Your Majesty, Genevieve began, her voice trembling with barely suppressed rage. 10 years ago, we had no choice but to hand our children over to that madman for your research. Something my son has never recovered from. The least you could have done, if you gave a damn about those boys, was to make sure Cooper was who he said he was. You handed my son directly to the enemy. Genevieve's chest heaved, years of repressed anger and frustration finally breaking through. There wasn't a trace of fear in her eyes. Every Alpha turned to Caleb, bracing for the explosion. No one talked to the king like that. But instead of fury, Caleb simply said, "You're right. This is my fault." Genevieve blinked. That wasn't what she'd expected. It wasn't what any of them had expected. And a ripple of shock moved through the room. Caleb never admitted fault. "I am truly sorry for that." Caleb went on, his gaze fixed on Genevieve. For a moment, she could only stare, speechless. Then she looked away, shoving down the wave of emotion that threatened to surface. After all these years, after all the pain, she was finally hearing the apology her son Griffin deserved. Years ago, Caleb had demanded their heirs be turned over to Cooper for observation. But Genevieve had known the truth even then. The man was threatened by their children's power and wanted to suppress it. She had no choice. With Caleb holding the ritual that empowered their heirs over their heads, it was either lose her son entirely or hand him over to whatever scheme the king had cooked up. She had chosen the lesser of two evils. And now, all these years later, the apology came just like that. Genevieve didn't know what to do with it. "All of you," Caleb said, his gaze sweeping across the council. "That's why I'm working around the clock with President Roy to hunt that traitor down, wherever he's hiding. We lost Alpha Henry. We will not lose another Alpha, and we certainly won't lose our heirs." "Words aren't enough," Leon said flatly. "If you really mean to protect my child, then help me find Roman before the enemy does." Caleb replied, "On that, my people are already searching for Roman, Griffin, and their mate Violet. It's not every day a pair is bound twice, after all. The moon goddess herself must see something special in that girl to grant her a second bond. I, for one, am very much looking forward to meeting her." His tone was casual, but Genevieve shifted in her seat. Caleb was a snake. Nothing good could come from his sudden interest in Violet. "Well, I suppose congratulations are in order." Alexa said suddenly, looking at Genevieve. What? Genevieve asked, taken aback. Alexa smirked. Your son's mate is now bonded to mine. I guess that makes us in-laws. Or something. Either way, this is going to be fun. Leon shot his wife a look. Alexa, now is not the time. But Alexa only shrugged. I'm just saying. Juliana cut in. If that's everything, I'll be returning to the north with my son. Caleb raised a brow. The north? And why is that? I almost lost my son in that attack. I'm going to be with him. So excuse me if I'm not sticking around to celebrate your double bond, she said, her eyes flicking between Alexa and Genevieve. Genevieve said nothing, just let a small, knowing smile touch her lips. Oh, it would be so sweet to see the look on Juliana's face when the prophecy finally came to pass. Fine, Caleb said. You can leave with Alaric once we're done here. Now let's move on to Alpha Henry's funeral arrangements. Alaric was pacing his room when the door flew open, and his parents walked in. We're leaving. Now, Juliana announced before the door even clicked shut. What? Alaric blinked, not sure he'd heard her right. His eyes shot to his father, searching for an explanation. Caspian sighed, his voice thick with exhaustion. You heard your mother. We're going home. No way, Alaric said, shaking his head. I can't leave right now. Juliana's chin jutted out. And why is that? Her eyes locked on his. Is this about that violet purple girl? Alaric didn't answer. He just swallowed hard, his Adam's apple Bobby. Juliana stepped closer, a flash of desperation in her eyes as she stared him down. What has that girl done to you? I look at you, and I don't even recognize my own son. She didn't do anything to me, Mom. I can't leave. I have to be here when she gets back with the others. That was the last straw. Juliana snapped. That girl has a mate! She screamed. 2 of them! So what exactly are you waiting around for? Alaric groaned, dragging a hand through his hair. He had no choice. He had to tell her the truth. There's a prophecy, he said, his voice low. Violet is destined for the 4 of us. Griffin was first. Now Roman is her mate. Asher and I could be next. That's why I have to stay close to her, Mom. We need to be together, now more than ever. But the words seemed to evaporate in the air between them. The color drained from Juliana's face, leaving her ghostly pale. It was as if she were staring at a stranger. Her son, she realized, had finally lost his mind. Where did you hear this? She asked, her voice dangerously quiet. What? This so-called prophecy, Juliana asked. Alaric hesitated before finally admitting. Alpha Genevieve. Is that so? Juliana's tone turned bitter. So, she's the one who's been poisoning my son's mind. What? Alaric was floored. This was not the reaction he'd been expecting. He thought telling her the truth would make her understand why he had to stay. Don't you worry.